The big story coming in from Ukraine as the Russian forces advance, yet another frontline city falls. And as the US corners Ukraine into surrendering territory for peace, Ukraine is coming under pressure. Today, the Russian president unleashed the sharpest attack on Ukraine's leadership yet, calling its leaders organized criminal syndicate. And while Putin berated Kyiv's top brass, his troops, his forces captured Kupiansk in what Moscow is calling its most decisive victory in months. The capture of the eastern Ukrainian city has now set the tone for a dramatic escalation, both on the front line and also on the negotiating table in a way. In a video released by Russian state media, Russia's top military officer is seen briefing the Russian president. He tells him reportedly that Russian troops have taken full control of Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region and are now destroying encircled Ukrainian forces on the left bank of the Oskil River. Now, Kyiv has not yet confirmed or commented on the claim, and it has not been independently verified. But if it is true, the symbolism is enormous. Kupiansk, a pre-war city of 55,000 and a critical railway hub, was among the first territories seized after the war started in 2022. Remember, it is also one of Kyiv's most celebrated victories when it was recaptured months later. And now Russia says it has seized it again. And the announcement comes amid some of the deadliest strikes of recent weeks. On Wednesday, an attack on the western city of Ternopil killed 26 people, injured 93, like we've been telling you. Over 20 people remained missing. And then overnight, Russian drone attacks hit Zaporizhzhia and Odesa. 5 people were killed in Zaporizhzhia, 3 injured, as markets and vehicles burned through the night, with emergency crews battling the fires. In Odesa, 5 people were injured as residential buildings, a vehicle service center, and an administrative facility were damaged. And against that backdrop, the Russian president appeared to go further as far as his rhetoric is concerned than he has in months, it seems. Responding to the military briefing, the Russian leader described Ukraine's leadership as, quote-unquote, organized crime syndicate, claiming it remained in power under the pretext of continuing the war with Russia. Now, those remarks were in reference to a corruption scandal in Ukraine, the dismissal of 2 senior officials after investigators revealed $100 million had been embezzled from the energy sector. And if that wasn't enough, perhaps the biggest development coming in from Washington. On Friday, Ukraine woke up to a draft US proposal that would, in a way, end the war largely on Russia's terms. WION told you about this last night. Reports of a secret US draft proposal now coming in that has been seen by news agencies like AFP and Reuters. Talk of Washington's peace plan requiring Ukraine to give up land, significantly cut the size of its army, and hold elections within 100 days. Kyiv would be bound never to join the NATO, and sanctions on Russia would be lifted. The proposal, endorsed by US President Donald Trump, according to the White House, would also recognize Crimea and the eastern regions of Donetsk and Lugansk as de facto Russian. The front line in the southern Kherson and Zaporizhzhia regions would be frozen. Russia would reportedly return to the G8, and the Kremlin, under sweeping sanctions for more than 3 years, would be reintegrated into the global economy. And when asked about this by reporters, the White House press secretary called it, quoting, a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine. Even as Washington insists the document is still a draft. Needless to say, in Kyiv, the reaction has been one of shock. One lawmaker from Zelensky's party summed up the mood in rather blunt language. Being mind blown has become our norm. Quite a statement there. In fact, today, Ukraine has said that it will not accept any arrangement that crosses what it calls its own red lines. Security Council chief and the lead negotiator, Rustem Umerov, has said, I'm quoting from that statement now on your screen, there can be no decisions. There can be no decisions outside the framework of our sovereignty, the security of our people, or our red lines, now or ever, quote unquote. Now, Zelensky is also preparing an urgent call, reportedly, with his closest European allies, the French president, the British prime minister, the German chancellor, to coordinate a joint response. The European Union says it has not officially received the US plan, but the EU Commission president has confirmed it will be discussed on the sidelines of the G20 summit in South Africa. Zelensky says he will speak directly with Trump in the coming days and insists that Ukraine needs a dignified peace. But so far, he has not said whether Kyiv could agree to any part of the US proposal as such. So losing Kupiansk may mark more than just a military challenge for Ukraine, with the Russian forces advancing, American pressure building up, European hesitation visible, Ukrainian morale tested by corruption scandals, and staggering battlefield losses. The outcome may hinge not only on who wins territory, but on what terms the war will actually end. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.